Hi guys, this is Ashley back with another video. Before we get into the video, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn on post notifications. And we got a lot to discuss. So fans are calling out Megan Thee Stallion, saying that she looks like a wimp because everybody has responded to diss tracks except her. She never responded to Bigfoot. Fans are saying that she forever will be a joke in hip-hop. According to fans on social media. But allegedly, Megan Thee Stallion got something coming for Nicki Minaj. Okay? See, like I told y'all a few weeks ago, Megan Thee Stallion is going to respond to Nicki Minaj. She's going to respond when she drops her album, which is allegedly what Kung Fu Kenny is doing to Champagne Thickums. That's why she was mocking Nicki Minaj a few weeks ago by quoting Bigfoot, okay? When she was at that sushi restaurant. So, she is going to respond. She's going to do it on her album because guess what? That's going to increase the streams and she can get another #1, okay? Now, do I think she's going to get the same reaction from Nicki Minaj like she did before? Absolutely not. I don't think Nicki's going to respond the same way. She may just drop a record. But I don't think she's going to, go on Station Head and Spaces and Instagram Live and go off on Megan Thee Stallion like she did before. I think she learned her lesson. But Megan is coming. Okay? Megan is coming. And, her team has told her to wait until, you drop the album to respond to Nicki so it can increase the streams. And she can do like over 100,000 first week when she drops her next hit album. So that's the master plan. So she will be responding to Nicki Minaj. Okay, she just hasn't responded yet. Now, is it too late? It depends. You know what I'm saying? It depends on, the rules. Some are saying Kung Fu Kenny, it's taking too long to respond. But I think that the longer Kung Fu Kenny takes to respond, the more Champagne Thickums spiral. He's itching for a response. Now he's doing AI, diss tracks. If Nicki Minaj was doing that, she would be getting all types of backlash. If she did an AI diss track with Queen Bee and, Left Eye, y'all would be dragging her. But I guess Champagne Thickums can get away with it because then again, he gets away with everything. Not only that, though, fans are calling out Nicki Minaj Ftcú Sleaze Mix because it only did 400,000 in streams on Paylify. And people are bringing up the fact that it did less than the Never Lose Me remix, which was with Botch and Bitter and SZA, which was the Flo Milli record. So let me know how y'all feel about that. And based on early predictions, very early predictions, is supposed to debut at number 38 on the Hot 100. Here's my thing. Nicki should have known that dropping the same day as the chart obsessed races was going to be a lot of competition. I'm sure Nicki Minaj would have had a better result if the chart obsessed races did not drop an album. Okay? And I think, Nicki just didn't want Ftcú to go reoccurrent on the charts. That was her plan so that way Ftcú can remain on the charts while new music was coming out. So that was actually a good plan. The only thing is I do feel like low-key Champagne Thickums and Chris Breezy the Colorist low-key sabotage Nicki Minaj. Like I said yesterday, it wasn't necessary for Champagne Thickums to drop a diss record that was already out on streaming platforms. Like, I don't understand why he would do that when you leaked the record last week. Like, let it go. That was whack. And then you put out an AI diss track. I mean, that man is scrambling. And then as for, Chris Breezy the Colorist, I do appreciate the, diss track to Quavo. It was fire. But again, like, you just put out a collaboration with Nicki Minaj and then you drop a diss record the same day. Everybody's going to go listen to that because you went for Quavo's head. I mean, again, that was kind of sabotage, in my opinion. No shade. I don't feel like it was necessary to release it that day, though. Or Saturday morning, whenever he released it. I think he could have waited a little bit. I understand that he didn't want to take too long. But at the end of the day, you just released a remix with Nicki Minaj. It just seemed like her release got overshadowed.
Now, moving on to Doja Cat. So Doja Cat posted on Instagram, "I really enjoy hissing at people." And a lot of fans are speculating that Doja Cat is teasing, a remix with Megan Thee Stallion. Or she could be on the Piss remix, okay, which has left the charts weeks ago. Let me know how y'all feel about that. I definitely don't think that Doja Cat is going to do any remixes for Piss. I'm sorry. The song already left the charts. It's been weeks. It's over. Plus, she was just saying Nicki Minaj. And Doja Cat's last album just flopped. Okay? Her deluxe album only did 400 in per sales. Doing a remix with Megan Thee Stallion or any type of song with Megan would be a death sentence for Doja Cat's career. No shade.
Now, allegedly, fans believe that Botch and Bitter is going to hop on the Chris Breezy wave and put out a diss track against Saweetie? Oh no. Now, a fan tweeted, so Saweetie did F off the cheat, and Cardi B said in Enough, aka Dr. Miami, that gang hit that coochie, and they said it was regular degular. Okay? So a lot of fans are speculating that she could have been talking about, Saweetie, which I said I thought she was talking about Saweetie when I did my review. A lot of people felt like she was talking about Nicki Minaj. But I said Saweetie because Lil Baby is on QC and he hit. Quavo and, Off the Cheat and obviously RIP Takeoff, they were on QC. And there's rumors that, she, slept with Off the Cheat, even though I heard it was her friend. But she hasn't debunked it, okay? Then, Chris Breezy, the colorist, who is beefing with the Migos, said that he hit. YG currently is smashing. Justin Combs smashed. Michael B. Jordan smashed. A lot of industry dudes have smashed Saweetie. So that's why I felt like that line was about Saweetie, because a lot of industry dudes have hit Saweetie in the industry. And I think, Botch and Bitter was low-key calling Saweetie a hoe. And I do feel like Cardi B has animosity towards Saweetie, because remember when she went to the Oscar Vanity Fair party a few months ago and she was throwing shade at Saweetie on Instagram Live?
It went smooth. I definitely ran into somebody. You know me. I don't play that. But I'll call you later because I'm on live.
So that was the day she took that picture with Ice Spice, okay, which was revealed a few weeks ago. So, fans were speculating that it was Saweetie that she ran into, and she probably pressed Saweetie about smashing Off the Cheat, and she didn't get no answer, okay? So I can see Botch and Bitter hopping on the Chris Breezy wave and continuing to throw slick shots at Saweetie, because now everybody calling her a hoe. Now, fans are also calling out Colorism, saying that Saweetie that girl for sleeping around, but Megan's a hoe. Woof, the Colorism is nasty. I'm pretty sure a thotty probably wrote this tweet. They're known for trying to get the sympathy train rolling for Megan to pass around. But to me, they're both hoes. And Megan Thee Stallion not really dark skinned. Okay, y'all acting like she Doechii or Azalea Banks. She's not. Okay. I don't know if she has started bleaching or whatnot, but Megan has been very light in recent years. Okay? Damn near trying to be like Rihanna shade or Miss Mariah Carey, but Megan Thee Stallion ain't dark skinned. She barely brown skinned in my opinion. She's like a tint darker than Saweetie. And they both hoe. And we're not going to act like Megan Thee Stallion hasn't been ran through. She has. Yeah. Moving on to Scratch Off. She is getting clocked by Ice Spice yet again. This is so embarrassing. But Ice Spice solo streams on Paolify are at 1.2 mil, okay? And with features is 900,000. Scratch Off for solo is only at 200,000. She only get 200,000 for streams. That's very, very low for scratch off. And as a feature artist, she gets 2.7 mil. Okay, so it looks like Ice Spice is thriving low-key as a solo artist. Scratch Off not so much. Well, honestly, I'm not really shocked. You know, Scratch Off hasn't had a hit since the Jungkook feature, which is technically not a hit record, in my opinion. But, you know, BTS is a big fan base. But other than that, I really don't hear people saying, I want to listen to that Scratch Off song. I never hear people say that. No shade. Moving on to Queen B, fans are speculating that Queen B could be at Coachella and doing a surprise performance. Because at Coachella, there are Cowboy Carter type stage materials being transported into the premise. Interesting. Okay, well, she definitely not performing the first night because I think the first night already passed. But didn't it take Queen B 8 months to do her Beachella performance a few years ago? I think it was like 2019, 2018, and it took her 8 months. I don't think she has enough time to practice, in my opinion. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't think she has enough time to practice. Because if it took her 8 months to practice for the Beachella performances that she did in 2019, she just went on tour last year. She didn't stop tour till October, November. How did she have time to practice Cowboy Carter? She doesn't. And then, Walmart Beyonce said, B and Kelly coming to my show tonight made my whole week. I love you both so much. The reason why I do what I do. Wow, what an incredible way to end Coachella. Okay, so, allegedly she was at Walmart Beyonce's performance at Coachella, but she won't give her a push or promote her record. But that's neither here or there. She did support Walmart Beyonce, not publicly, but behind closed doors. Now, with that being said, Walmart Beyonce did announce her new album, which will be titled Trouble in Paradise. It should really be titled Troubled with My Mentor. Since Queen B won't be promoting you or helping you sell no records. Your last album did 10K, and both your singles that you recently dropped have flopped. I don't understand how you could be teasing an album right now. I thought you had to have a hit record to drop an album. If you're not an A-lister, I thought that was a thing. It should be Trouble with My label, Trouble with My mentor, Trouble with Queen B, but Trouble in Paradise should not be the name of your album. It should be called Trouble with Selling Records, Trouble Getting a Push from My label, but it should not be called Trouble in Paradise, unless the paradise is the fact that, your next album gonna flop like your first one did. No shade. But I don't think Walmart Beyonce should be putting out an album. No shade at all, but you're not selling no records. How you gonna put out an album if the label ain't gonna recoup? That doesn't make any sense. But maybe she's just trying to get out of her contract. She is in her 360 deal, so maybe this is her way out.
Now, Nicki Minaj brings out Big Sean to her Detroit gag city. She also brought out SAB0T to perform a whole lot of Choppa's remix. Okay. And Big Sean had a lot to say about Nicki Minaj, a lot of good things to say.
One of the things I can say about Nicki is that she never switched up. She always kept it real. I mean that. There are many times in my career where she gave me a lot of great advice when she didn't have to, telling me to come out and perform in Detroit, but she didn't have to do that. And she know how much I rock with the city and fuck with the city. So right now I want y'all to just make some noise for Nicki Minaj for me.
And that's one thing about Nicki Minaj. She is loyal to a T. Okay? And no shade, Big Sean fell off, and I think he was talking about Champagne Thickums when he said, people have switched up on him in the past. I think he's talking about Champagne Thickums, but Nicki Minaj has never switched up on him, even though his career declined. The untalented crew is not going to be happy about this. So, it has been reported that the TikTok ban is now inevitable. after the House of Representatives passed a new bill forcing the sale with a 360 to 58 majority vote. Okay, so there has been a new vote basically alluding that if TikTok is not being resold to an American company or one of those billionaires like Elon Musk or, Bill Gates or whatnot, then it will get banned. Okay, so somebody has to buy it that's an American citizen for it to stay. Now, GloRilla Glue ain't gonna be happy about this because she was upset that her wannabe challenge was not going viral on TikTok because she cannot play her music there.
The thing I'm mad about, y'all, I'm mad because I can't use TikTok to promote my I'm mad y'all can't make TikToks to my music, man. I'm mad about that.
Now, JT throws some shade, and she reposted a fan that said JT's OK snippet has now surpassed 40,000 videos on TikTok. And JT responded and said no challenge with the tree or shade emoji, so allegedly she was throwing shade at GloRilla Glue. Okay, so they still going back and forth, which they need to stop doing. They need to take it to the booth and stop going back and forth on social media. Okay, that's corny. Now, Kanye West, of course, had to hop on the bandwagon and join in on clicking up against Champagne Thickums. And he threw some shots at J. Cole in the Like That remix. Okay, Kanye West said, "Y'all are so out of sight, out of mind. I can't even think of a Champagne Thickums line. Play J. Cole, get your coochie dry. Play that shit back 130 times. Then he said, where's Lucian? Serve your master, N-word. Caught a little bag for your masters, didn't ya? Lifetime deal. I feel bad for niggas, okay? Now, he's basically talking about a 360 deal. Well, if you were on my Patreon, y'all would know this because I already spilled this tea last year. But Champagne Thickums, a few years ago, he did sign a 360 deal with Universal. And it was a big bag. It was not $400 million. I heard it was more than $400 million that Universal gave him for his masters and, publishing and his 360 rights. So, Champagne Thickums is in the 360 deal. But I already spilled that tea last year, okay? The general public just now finding out. But that was one of the biggest 360 deals ever in music. And Lucian is the CEO of Universal. So, that bar was kind of fire. I don't think he wrote it, though. I don't think Kanye West wrote that bar. But it was fire. I will give him that. But Pusha T should have been on the Like That remix instead of Kanye. Kanye, his bars don't hit like Pusha T. I don't think Champagne Thickums can go back and forth with Pusha T. He still hasn't responded to the last diss Pusha T did. Okay? He was crying and writing paragraphs on Instagram. But Metro did like a tweet that said that, Pusha T could possibly be on the Like That remix, maybe with Kanye West. Okay? But it's too many people joining in now. It's corny now. Champagne Thickums using AI. I mean, it's just getting cornier and cornier by the day. But anyway, I got some hot tea on Patreon. Link will be in the description. And have an amazing day.